This is Chrissy Evans. How are you?
I'm doing well, Chrissy. How are you?
I am doing very well, thank you.
Have you
I'm
rested
excited to
up?
be calling in.
Have you rested up there, Chrissy?
I think that maybe another few days and I'll be good. It's been very, very exciting for all of us, as you can imagine.
Oh, I'll tell you what. You had so many watchers from Connie at viewing those shows, and your kids are absolutely fantastic. How did they? How could they act so natural and calm in front of such a large audience?
That's a question that Anthony and I get asked all the time. We ask ourselves that as well. And we've actually been talking a lot about that over the last several days. And our only answer is that they were born that way. And that was something that we were talking about just yesterday.
Uh huh.
It's something that I think that you're just born with. And I think it's the level of security that they have as people. I think that we have just instilled in them just some great qualities and that level of security, I think.
I would.
And we've always nurtured this creative aspect of who they are and allowed them to really be expressive in a lot of different areas, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm guessing that that's really helped them.
I sent you some questions too, Chrissy, that viewers and listeners were asking me to ask you, and you said you were going to try to get some time to talk to the kids with those
Yeah.
questions. Um, I'm going to turn it over to you, and maybe you could answer some of those questions. Did you write them down? And
I did, yes.
okay, okay, I'll turn it over to you.
And so I have them right here, and I have them in no really specific order. We just kind of sat down and talked over the last couple of days. But
That's
one
fine.
of the questions was, do the kids watch the show, and who are their favorites to win? And,
Yes.
this is a kind of, as far as the favorites to win, in the beginning, it was Smoothini, and only Smoothini, because we have become really good friends with him. He lives here in Vegas, and he's like an uncle to them. They call him Uncle. We have connected with his entire family. His wife just had twins. They were over the other day for a barbecue. Throughout this whole process, what you see on TV is only a few minutes.
Right.
This has actually been about 7, 8 months, and we spend a lot of time online with all the apps.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of things behind the scenes, and they show a little bit of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But television doesn't really capture everything. And
Right.
once, I get a little more organized, of course, everybody started school this week. I'll be uploading a lot of different photos and telling a lot of different stories online, explaining a little bit more about the journey. So Smoothini was like their only favorite. But now they have a few more because they have definitely made some relationships. Kelly Glover, who is also in the finals, she'll be singing next week.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a big sister to them.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be here spending Thanksgiving with us.
Wow.
And the cello brothers, Emil and Daryl, they are an incredible group of young men who really connected with my children, who were just so gracious and loving and kind. And they have actually uploaded several pictures on our Instagram and Twitter. I don't know that I've shared them on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
but just a lot of really great loving moments that you don't get to see on TV, especially live TV.
Right.
And that's what I'm hoping to definitely get to this weekend to share with everybody.
You know, you mentioned live TV, Chrissy, and I imagine the pace of that is outrageous because they have to hit certain times by the second, as far as getting the commercials and getting back on the air and all that sort of stuff. Did you witness all that stuff going on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. Everything that goes into it is just incredible. And if you ever get an opportunity to ever go to a live taping of any type of show, I encourage everybody to do it. Some of our friends in Conneaut got to go to it, April Osborne and her son.
Yeah.
Bill Chiarelli, Crystal Moore and her two children, and then a couple of my friends in New Jersey got to go and meet us as well, which was wonderful. But that live taping that's a 2-hour show actually lasts like 4 hours. And, you know, they tell you when to clap. They tell you when to ooh and ah and boo and everything. So, and it's all orchestrated. It's all, you know, right to the second. It's really, it's poetic. It's incredible. It's mind-blowing. And if you can ever do it, do it. You know, it is a bit overwhelming. Like I said, I had no idea that it was going to take this much out of me. Normally, I would be online sharing a lot, but I looked at my laptop and I'm like pushing it away from me. I don't even want to do anything the last few days especially, and I'm finally getting back to some emails, and even that's been a slow process for me.
Chrissy, did the kids have any chance to interact with the judges?
No, not outside of the actual show, other than what you saw when like Howie Mandel had come to our house a couple months ago.
Yep, I saw that.
That was very, very brief, and it was just for filming. But no, we don't have any type of contact. They keep that very limited with all of the acts. It's there. As far as filming and stuff, they give you a little bit, but that's it. But no, nothing. Even with Nick, it's really just for filming purposes, and they keep him pretty distant from everybody as well.
Did has any agents contacted you or Anthony as far as these kids maybe going on further?
Yes. Yeah,
really?
There's our emails have been flooded.
Really?
Yes. And we actually figured that that's the way that it would be. We've got the thing with the way that this happens is we have signed a contract for the kids with the talent agency that represents America's Got Talent.
Okay.
They are signed for 3 years, an exclusive contract with them, and then a limited contract for 10 years, which to some may sound scary, but anybody can buy them out of that contract. Say Disney wants them, Disney can buy that contract and take them, and that's usually what happens with anybody, especially in the top 48 of a contest like this. And that's usually what America's Got Talent wants for them as well. So we're pretty excited. There's some things that it hasn't gotten that far. You know, we've gotten some emails and some phone calls, and we've got some papers coming in the mail with some offers, and so we're excited. We're pretty excited for them.
What is next, Chrissy? As far as like one of the questions was, will they perform in the school where they go to school? Would they be?
They actually their first year that we were here, they only had a month of school, and they did their talent show. And oddly, what they did at their talent show, they actually did for their very first audition that you see on the very first performance of AGT. That was what they did at their talent show.
Okay.
Last year's talent show, they were in as well, and that was what they did similar for their second lineup for the audition as well. So we kind of used their school as a means to kind of practice. And then they also did a special assembly at their school with just them right before we left for another filming for AGT. And it was like an hour-long assembly where we have some stage illusions as well. We didn't get to that part of it, and I'll explain that. With AGT, there's a creative team and a production team that what you saw on TV, they did. We didn't bring a grocery store from Las Vegas and, you know, set that up in New York City. They were the ones who created that. They set that up, and we were going to go with magic because that was another aspect of what our children do. So we have 18 stage illusions, and so this assembly that our children put on for their school was getting them prepped to use all of these stage illusions.
Okay.
And so their school has been incredible, just like Lakeshore was when we were there. We miss everybody there, so a big shout out to everybody at Lakeshore. But that's usually what they do. They just do it on a small scale at their school. And one of the questions that one of the viewers had was, how are their classmates as far as having celebrities in their class?
Right.
You know, they're pretty laid back. They don't get, they've been aware of the children since they've been here. And some of them were a part of the AGT filming, so they're aware of all of it.
Okay.
They don't get asked for autographs at school because it's not something that we even encourage. But when we're out and about, they do get asked. People recognize them, especially now. When we, especially after the live shows, we were stopped everywhere. And, you know, we encourage it because it's interacting with their fans, and their fan base is very young. And we want to encourage that, that's for sure.
Hey, Chrissy, I wanted to ask you this. Now, you go back to this a second. The last performance that they did on the actually it was the most elaborate I can remember soundstage where the kids are in the grocery store doing the act, and again, just to clear this up, did you guys come up with that idea, or did they?
No, we did not come up with that idea. It was actually, that was the production team and the creative team. We actually honestly argued it, and we did not want that. And,
really?
But what people don't understand about television is that it's created. There's an army of people who create things like this. Even reality TV like this, all of those acts that you see performed, they don't get to choose any of that either. There's an entire team of people who put it all together, and they basically show up to perform it. And so the producers that we had, because we get, each act gets a producer, and then you get a creative team, you get lighting, staging, you know, it's a big, elaborate team of people that do this for you, came up with this idea. What their theory behind it was they wanted America to think of our children every time they went grocery shopping. And so that was what their theory was behind it. And I'm certain that they will. Every time we go into the grocery store, we think of it now.
I do too. I do too.
But, you know, and there was a bit of controversy online at first with questions about, you know, my son Dominic throwing cards at Nick. That was part of the show. I would never in a million years ever let my children behave. I mean, first of all, it was a fake grocery store. They weren't really misbehaving. It was an act. They were performing this, right?
Right.
It wasn't real. And I would never, the rule in my home is you're not allowed to throw cards at people. And that was something that I had an issue with. You know, during the week-long rehearsal, as we're rehearsing, we're changing things. What you saw was not the very beginning of everything. We started off with this idea of a grocery store, and then it grew from, you know, maybe we started with, you know, apples, and then we decided not to use apples, and we moved into other things, and then we only used the one apple on top of the helmet, and, you know, and then we moved into everything else. But the whole throwing of the cards at Nick was something that was decided later in rehearsal, and I argued it because the rule in the house is that you're not allowed to throw cards at people because, one, it hurts. You can really get hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not a behavior that is allowed in my home. And I don't want to undo anything and make it a joke. And I am very adamant about the way that I allow my children to behave, even if it's performing. And so we had a hard time with production with that. And so then they said, well, how about if we just do it lightly and it'll be playful? And I still, honestly, Pat, was not all for it because I have a hard time. I'm a pretty serious gal when it comes to the way that I rear my children. So,
sure.
But I allowed it. And same with the targets right there in front of the judges. I did not want that because of the fact that it's too close to the judges. and I thought, and Dominic is very accurate, but what if there's an accident, you know? So and they were not budging. The production team was not budging. And so what I did was I took my son aside and I said, listen, aim toward the ground because those targets are not real. It was just for special effects. The cannons were going to go off whether he hit the targets or not. So I said, aim toward the ground and we'll be good.
Right.
Stay away from the judges, you know? So,
yeah.
And I know that another concern was Lyric crying and the way that she got upset.
Yes.
And I know that I had spoken with you about that via private message, and we were actually very shocked about that because I was on the side stage. You don't see me on camera, of course, but during any type of filming or rehearsal or anything, Anthony and I were right there, and same with the day that they went on stage and the day that they were voted off, we were right there. And I was having a difficult time because she was crying, and we were not expecting that. If anyone would have gotten upset, it would have been Dominic because he's extremely sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lyric started crying, and we had found out later, after we came off stage, and we were behind the scenes, I had sat with my children, and right after you go on live, they want to interview you right away because they want your raw emotion. Well, I'm a mama bear, Pat, and I was cradling my children because what happened was Lyric got upset, and then her brothers got upset. It starts this chain reaction with them. They're very connected.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get very upset, and I protect my children, and I kept telling production to go away, kindly, as kindly as I could. And it took about 20, 25 minutes for us to calm our children down. But our daughter actually misunderstood what Howie had said.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Howard, later, a few minutes later, to say what he said, that was just enough for her because she really loves Howard.
Yeah.
She actually thought that Howie said he didn't like them at all. And that's what, she was just overwhelmed and, all of that. So
I noticed,
it was a mess.
I noticed, Chrissy, when the act, I think it was after they had been voted out, you came out on stage and took Lyric and put your arm around her and walked her off the stage. I believe that was you. I don't think it was a stage person. Is that what I saw?
Actually, no. I was on the side stage waiting, and it was Emil and Daryl, the cello boys. They actually hugged, unless they caught me at the end because I was side stage and waiting for them, and I did hug.
Mm-hmm.
Because they actually had me on the other side of the stage, and I said, I want to be, if they get eliminated, I want to be on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, I knew they were going home. I felt it, and I just wanted to be there for them. And I said, if they're going to get voted through, I don't care. They can wait for me. But if they're going to get voted off, I want to be the very first person they see.
Right.
Because you are strangers to them. And they're like, well, they know us. No, they don't know you. They've known you for, 20 minutes. A week is not long enough. They need their mother, and I want them to see me. So, and we had prepped them. And they took it so well. And that is the one thing. I videotaped that part of them getting the news, and we watch it over and over and over. We are so proud of the way that they handled themselves.
Oh,
We're
I know.
not shocked.
I know.
We are proud. They are so wonderful and classy. And they went right to Emil and Daryl, and Emil and Daryl went right to them and hugged, and it was just lovely. I'm so proud of my children. I'm proud of my children anyway, because what people don't understand is that, one, over 100,000 acts had tried out for that show. These kids were top 48 in the whole country. 48 acts. I have goosebumps just saying that, Pat.
I know.
It's like the enormity of that. And if you read about the other acts, they're all professionals. They've done all of this. They've been in the circuit. They've been doing this a while. These triplets of our little old town went from the Conneaut High School basketball halftime show to Radio City. That's basically what they've done.
Yes.
They've had no training.
Yes.
They have done nothing else. I am full of goosebumps. I'm so proud of them. And I really believe that it's because of their start, it's because of their support, it's because of our town. You know, we didn't do it alone. Anthony and I have always said, it takes a village. Our little town has helped us become the parents that we are. It's helped our children become the children that they are. We wouldn't be where we are at all on any level as people if it weren't for Conneaut. I'm going to cry now. Our children would not be the people that they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I understand. You know, it was funny, Chrissy. Several years ago, when they were just little takes, Anthony and I met up at the, we were getting our driver's licenses, and I think it was in Ashtabula, and Michelle and I were there, and these little kids didn't say boo. You didn't know that they had this in them, this personality that came across on national television like they did the last several months, and I actually cried. I actually cried when I watched them, because I watched those little kids when they were babies. And I told Michelle, I can't believe these kids are this talented, this professional, for a limited amount of time that they've been in the business. They are naturals, and I see them becoming something big down the road very soon. And I give you both credit, you and Anthony both, for raising 3 beautiful, beautiful children out there. And God bless you for it. I really think you've done a great job.
Well, I appreciate that, Pat. We appreciate that very much.
You're
like
very
I said,
welcome.
we haven't done it alone, you know?
Hey, did we answer?
Entire town backing us, and
Oh, yeah.
you guys have really pulled through. You know, I think about, I couldn't even name everybody who the support has been unbelievable. You know, we chuckled yesterday, or a couple days ago, because there was a status that Donnie Stump had posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday it said, well, I guess we can all go back to not watching America's Got Talent.
I saw
so
that.
Funny.
Yeah,
because
I saw that.
Nobody watched it before.
You're right.
And now nobody's watching it again. It's just really, it's funny. We chuckled.
Hey, Anthony told me in an email a couple months ago, I guess, when you guys come back to town to visit, could I have him on the show just to introduce him?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'd love to meet
and,
him.
You know, and this is another thing that we are talking about as well, and I had just spoken with Martha Thorahan the other day. What we want to do, and we're not sure when we're coming back. I was hoping for the fall because it was my absolute favorite time of year, and I miss Ohio like crazy.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's going to be more towards like Christmas.
Okay.
But what we want to do is a fundraiser, and I'm not sure for what charity. I'm guessing whichever one is in most desperate need at the time. But we want to do a fundraiser and make big hoopla. And I do know that Dominic, I don't know if you guys saw the Today Show when we were on.
Yes, I did.
Okay, but we've done vision boards. I don't know if anyone who knows me very well is all about vision boards, but we every year, even a couple times a year, but every year at the end of the year we do vision boards in my home, and it's really about getting focused and putting your goals together, and then you focus and visualize about what you want to focus on for the year to come. And so last year we had done vision boards, and Dominic actually had put together what he wanted, and the Today Show was on it. And his goals list, I'm actually looking at right now because I did an art project with it. And one of his goals was to be the Grand Marshal of the 4th of July Parade in Conneaut.
Really?
And, yeah, really. But we never made it back this 4th of July, and that was really what our hope was, that because we were so wrapped up in the whole AGT thing, and our schedules were always up in the air with filming, and you know, we weren't sure when we were going to be called out and all of this. We were basically on call all summer. But that's really, he really wants to do that. All 3 of them want to do that, but Dominic really, this is his thing, you know, and his brother and sister really just support him in it. They could kind of take it or leave it, but because they love him that much, they support him. And it's funny because some people are like, I feel sorry for Phoenix because he's so quiet on, you know, and the other 2 take up, you know, so much of his spotlight. I'm like, don't feel sorry for him. He's so the opposite off camera and quite honestly, he's like, I really don't care, Mom. I'd rather, he's a science kid, and he likes to do Minecraft, and I promise you my children are very well-rounded, and none of them lack attention or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we really want to do a big fundraiser and raise some money for whatever we possibly can when we come into town.
Well, I hope so. And I'll help you out as much as I can here, Chrissy. Anthony knows that. We'll certainly promote that when you put it together. Hey, did we answer all the questions on that list?
Let me see. I think, you know what, Rita Erdman actually sent me a private message, and she was asking, who was the first person that held the celery and got it, card thrown at them? And I clarified, like, the first person who held the celery in their mouth, because that would be me. And the way that came about was in line in LA while we were waiting to audition for America's Got Talent. We actually could not find a watermelon, and we needed like something that was a big deal. And I'm not one who likes to be on camera, and that's something that the production team was always fighting with me about. I like to stay off camera. This is about my children, and I just don't like it. So I said I'll do it because nobody else would do it, and I will do anything for my children. So I actually stuck the celery in my teeth and let my son throw the card at it, and it was last-minute decision because we needed something, right? Yeah. And then we actually had to bribe Phoenix to do it, and then it just kind of snowballed into having Nick Cannon do it, and the thing with Nick Cannon too, he always gets involved with these skits, just that, but the first time that he had ever done anything in a live show was with our kids with that watermelon. And so that was kind of nice. We were happy about that. And as far as that watermelon goes, only a handful of people in the world can pierce a watermelon with a playing card, and Dominic is one of them. And that's something that a lot of people don't get. So maybe when we come back into town, when we do a fundraiser, we do a little bit of a challenge, and that's what we've been doing. We did one with Smoothini, and I'll be posting a video. And we're actually working on doing a Jimmy Fallon challenge as well. And that's fingers crossed that works, because that's in the works. Anthony contacted the production team with them. But challenging people to cut vegetables with cards and donate money to charity.
I mean, to throw a card like Dominic does, it's unbelievable because it's impossible for a regular person to do that. Chrissy, I have a question. On that watermelon scene, in the supermarket scene, my son thought that the card actually broke the watermelon in half. That was not the case, right?
No, it was not the case. But let me tell you, in rehearsal, all week long, we were having, it's a very difficult thing to pierce that watermelon and even the apple. And then on stage, Dominic just, first card went right through the apple, first card went right through the watermelon. In rehearsal, Dominic, for the very first time, sliced a cucumber right in half with a card. We about died.
It
didn't happen live on stage. But we were all like, oh my goodness, he cut the thing right in half, and we were like, how did he even do that?
Really?
Too bad we didn't get that on video.
Yeah.
Because, during rehearsal, we're doing things 17, 18 times a take, and it gets monotonous. But yeah, we were all, even the production team there, he just cut that cucumber in half. And we went, oh my goodness. So no, the card did not cut the watermelon in half. It was the actual dropping it on the floor that broke it in half. But piercing it with a card is, I can't even throw a card, okay? I can't throw a card. I can get no distance. My cards go backward and do flippy-floopy-loos, and I can do nothing with it. So for him to get that distance, it's incredible. When we were at Radio City, he was trying during rehearsal to get to the second balcony. He couldn't do it. During the live shows, he nailed the second balcony, and he actually hit Smoothini's dad, so that Smoothini's dad stopped it, or it would have kept sailing through. So when I had spoken to you via message and told you that something happens to my kids when they're in that live audience, and they come alive, that energy just lights them up. You know, during rehearsal, they're like half asleep. The production team's like, oh my gosh, you guys, they have to wake up, feed them some sugar. And we're like, don't worry, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. Once they get on that stage, Pat, it's incredible. It's insane. They come alive, and they, like I said, he hits the second balcony, and that's like 130, 140
Oh yeah,
feet.
yeah.
It's insane.
Hey, what grade are they in now, Chris? Are they?
What's that?
What grade are they in? Are they in third grade or second grade?
They're in third grade now.
Third grade. Because I got asked that the other day too, and I said probably third. I was guessing, but third grade. I am so happy that you called in, Chrissy, and I know you wanted to thank Conneaut for their support. I know Kathy Pape was instrumental in.
Oh my gosh, yes. Big shout out to Kathy Pape. Oh my goodness. I wish I would have put together like a speech, you know, but everybody knows who they are. I could embrace the entire town. I love them all. Everybody has been amazing, just amazing. The support has been incredible. The love that we feel, I'm telling you, we feel it 2,300 miles away. It's mind-blowing. It really is.
That's great.
Incredible.
That is super. Hey, listen, tell the kids I said hello, and tell Anthony I said hello. I haven't seen him for a while. And please remember us when you come back to Conneaut this Christmas time, okay?
Absolutely. I'll let you know when we're coming.
Okay.
And we'll get everything lined up before we head into town, okay?
Okay, stay in touch, Chrissy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, we love you guys.
We
Absolutely
love you too.
guys so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Chrissy Evans talking to us from Las Vegas, and you can tell a protective mother there that wants to make sure her kids live a normal life.